Fun fact most of you won't know about me. After I graduated college with a Bachelor Honours degree in Contemporary Fine Art, I got a job in a biscuit factory. Now, for those of you who have worked in a factory, you will know how repetitive and tedious and dangerous working a factory floor can be. Packing biscuits for hours on end, trying to keep up with the fast-paced machines was often stressful and exhausting, but it was also mind-numbingly boring. After studying contemporary fine art for 5 years, it was incredibly frustrating for me to be working in a job that had nothing to do with what I had invested half a decade studying. I was so bored every day packing biscuits for 8 hours every day for minimum wage that I dreaded going into work every day because every day was the same. Though, yeah, you did get free cookies, so perks of the job, but it became routine. Routine removes any potential options we condition ourselves to be able to accomplish. So we are essentially on autopilot. And for a creative mind, this can feel suffocating because creativity is essentially a choice. Boredom doesn't necessarily take away choice, but it disables our ability to make choices we clearly see in front of us. Boredom, to me, can also often cause us to feel guilty as we are not being productive. Probably because boredom is often associated with laziness. But it's not lazy to be bored. To be bored is when we are low on fuel. We are willing to channel energy into something, we just don't know what. We can see a choice, but we are unable to make a choice. This usually happens when we have too many things to choose from. It's why when we are bored, we tend to spend hours on social media because we feel like we have to channel the little energy we do have into something out with ourselves. We hop around from Facebook and Twitter, Instagram, YouTube and TikTok or wherever else there is out there now, and we feel like we are overcoming our boredom. But what we are actually doing is giving our attention to something other than ourselves to avoid addressing the reason why we are bored. We're not really making a choice. We are hopping onto a conveyor belt of distractions. And to me, this conveyor belt of social media interaction becomes hypnotic, almost like a sedative. It can give a false sense of security. We feel we are in control as we scroll through social media, but to me, this is actually an inauthentic feeling and, like boredom, takes away our ability to choose. We're just not aware that this ability has been taken away. And having to make a choice slows us down, resulting in being lethargic, which is often also confused for laziness. Laziness is when we are unwilling to use the energy we have to get tasks done. We choose not to do something in spite of the list of things that need to be done in order to function. Boredom is when we literally can't make a choice. Lethargic is when we have no energy to make a choice. When we are bored, something is blocking us from accessing conscientiousness, meaning that though we always have the skills and knowledge to do things well, being bored causes us to be unable to choose what to do well. However, I don't personally think that boredom in itself is a bad thing. Working in that biscuit factory, I was so bored doing the same thing day in and day out. But after a while, when muscle memory caused me to do the job without having to think about it, it changed from being routine to being almost ritualistic. It allowed my brain to wander. It allowed me to daydream. Daydreaming not only boosts your creativity and problem-solving skills, but it also helps you concentrate and focus on a specific task. It helps your mind wander to thoughts and areas that it might not wander to if you had not set aside time for daydreaming. The writer Agatha Christie said, quote, "There's nothing like boredom to make you write." Neil Gaiman said, quote, "You have to let yourself get so bored that your mind has nothing better to do than to tell itself a story." Though daydreaming is often discouraged, especially in school and college and in the workplace, if your job consists of operating heavy machinery though, daydreaming can even be harmful to your health if you allow it to reduce your concentration. It can cause accidents. To me, daydreaming shouldn't be discouraged, but instead we should allocate time every day to allow ourselves to daydream. This is obviously not something you should do while at work, especially if you do work with heavy machinery. It's about balance, knowing when you need to return to the routine and wait for the ritual. it often comes in full circle. So the next time you feel bored, maybe it means your brain is telling you to take time to daydream. How ironic that daydreaming actually led me to want to write about boredom, and why it is actually, in my opinion, a good thing. I'm Mad Munchkin. Stay creative.